What's the most expensive mistake someone tried to blame you for and failed? I was pushing 40 and had been practicing law for over a decade when it happened. One of the earliest lessons I ever learned in this job came from an old lawyer I worked with back in law school. He sat me down one day, looked me dead in the eye, and said, "A lawyer has 3 duties, first to himself, second to the court, and last to the client, because clients will screw you without hesitation." I never forgot that. Fast forward years later, and I'm working with this mid-sized company that owns a decent real estate portfolio, not huge, but definitely worth millions. One day, a building of theirs burned to the ground. That's when Frank got involved. Frank was about 60, kind of guy who'd been working the same job forever and thought that made him bulletproof. The company tasked him with handling the insurance claim. Not legal, just administrative stuff. But Frank told me he had it all under control and didn't want to waste money on lawyers. I should have pushed harder. Still, I tried. I called him, warned him, begged him to let me sue the insurer before the limitation period expired. They were obviously stalling, and I'd seen this game before. The closer that clock ticked to 0, the friendlier the adjuster got. Frank thought that meant progress. I knew it meant they were playing him. I told him in no uncertain terms, once the limitation period passes, they'll ghost you. No payout, no conversation, just an email saying, "Sorry, time's up," and millions of dollars would vanish. Frank brushed me off every time. I sent follow-up emails. I called. I explained how dire this was. I told him I'd be at trial and unreachable before the deadline, so if he still didn't want me to handle it, he needed to instruct someone else to sue. Otherwise, they were out of time. He ignored every message, so I made a call, a risky one. With the little information I had, I filed the claim myself, without instructions, something we're never supposed to do. If things went south, I'd be personally liable for the other side's legal costs, but I had a gut feeling, and I trusted it more than I trusted Frank. Weeks passed. My trial wrapped up. I heard nothing, so I figured maybe, just maybe, Frank had pulled it off. Then I got that call. "Hey," Frank said casually. "Remember that insurance fire claim we talked about?" I told him, "So they paid?" "That's great, Frank. You were right." Dead silence. Then he says, "Can I see a copy of the lawsuit?" I blinked. "What lawsuit?" "The one you filed against the insurer." That's when it clicked. They hadn't paid, just like I'd warned. And Frank, realizing the screw-up was nuclear, tried to pin it on me. Said he told me to sue, and when I didn't, he was following up. Minutes later, I got his shady little cover-your-ass email, pretending like he'd given me instructions months ago. Nice try. So I did what I should have done earlier. I forwarded everything. His emails, mine, the warnings, the ignored advice, to his boss, and his boss's boss. I also CC'd their in-house counsel, Bill. Bill called me within the hour. "We know Frank messed up," he said. "But what now? Are we just out a few million bucks?" "Not quite," I said. "I filed the claim anyway." "You sued? Without instructions?" "Yeah, I did." There was a pause on the other end, then, "Thank God. Can I leave this with you?" "Absolutely." The insurer didn't stand a chance now. Their delay tactics were dead on arrival. The case settled easily, and the company got their money. A week later, I got a call from another employee. "Hey, we need you on a new matter." I said, "You can loop Frank in." There was an awkward pause. "Oh, Frank's not with us anymore." Turned out they brought him into a meeting, handed him a 1-page letter, and walked him out, box in hand, escorted by security like a scene from a movie. It was a wrap. He was too old to land anything decent after that. I never set out to get revenge. Honestly, if Frank hadn't tried to rewrite history and throw me under the bus, I might have felt sorry for him, but he did. And instead, he got rolled under the very bus he aimed at me. And the guy who replaced him, total professional. Never questioned my fees, never ignored my advice. So yeah, that old lawyer was right. You always put yourself first, because some clients, they'll burn you faster than a building fire.